What is up, guys? Pie Muffin here, and we are back with another Tales of the Rays video. This is going to be my 2019 version of how to play Tales of the Rays. I made one of these before, but a lot of functions have been added to the game and a lot of changes. So I kind of want to make a new one. Plus, I do see a lot of more interest in wanting to play the game. So because it's a Japanese game, it's kind of hard to get into. Obviously, if you are playing this game, you're most likely kind of just wanting to play for the characters. There are some story summaries, but they are not as up-to-date as a lot of people would like. So if you are going to get into this is mainly for the gameplay and, you know, the characters and all that stuff. So we're going to go over everything real quick. But before, so you're looking at the main screen right now. Once you're done with the tutorial, this is what you'll see. Obviously, I only have one device, so I couldn't make a new account just to kind of show you guys the beginning. But, you know, the beginning of the game will basically be, it'll show you a basic, you know, battle tutorial. And then when you're done with all that, it'll show you some equipment, blah, blah, blah. And then after that, you'll have some beginner missions on the side, which I will have a link to, a page where those beginner missions and what you need to do for them. And you should actually, I'm not sure if it'll still be around, but we did recently get something after the last stream. I'm not sure what the dates were for that to where you can obtain those rewards, but the beginner missions, and if that secondary set of missions is still around, you can get a free mirage ticket from each of those. And I'll explain what that is, because obviously, you know, someone who's new to this game is going to be like, what the heck is a mirage ticket? I'll get into that. But first, we're actually going to switch over to my computer real quick. And we're going to look right here real quick. So there are two websites you need to have bookmarked if you're going to play this game. I guess the first one you don't need, but if you want to know what's going to be up and coming, this is a very important Twitter page. This is the official Tales of the Rays Twitter page, where pretty much they'll update you on everything. So for example, we just recently got the Rokuro New Year's event. So, you know, this was posted on the 28th and the event came on the 31st. So this is a very important Twitter to have because it'll kind of show off everything, you know, what everyone's new abilities and stuff are, people who are getting seasonals, and like I said, Mirage Arts. I'll explain what those are later down the line. You know, story chapter stuff, pretty much any kind of updates to the game will be put on here. And they'll also be put in the game, but I just feel like it's easier to follow their Twitter for that. And the second thing you want to have is the Tales of the Rays wiki. What's really important about this is specifically your moves. So this is an equipment gacha game, which, like I said, I'll get into that more later. So all the characters you'll obtain will actually be obtained through story and through events. The weapons themselves are what you're going to be pulling for. And what's important about this is, if you are a fan of any Tales, you know that arts are a big thing in the game, and those are like your attacks. So what's important here is, so let's go to 4-star weapons, for example. Each weapon is tied to a specific art. So let's go to Flynn's White Knight Sword, for example. Flynn was the last story character we got for the second arc before it ended, and this is Guardian Field. And here is the explanation as to what it does. Pierces the ground with a sword and attacks the power of a guardian. So this is very important to know because you'll need to know what arts do what. So like, for example, for a more, I'd say, intricate character, let's go to, who's going to be a good example? Yeah, let's go to Blue Anima. And let's go to Elise. I just had to think for a second who would be a good example. So, if you go to the character themselves, you can actually see all the weapons they currently have in the game. So what's important about Elise is, and if you've played Zillia, you know Elise is more of a spellcaster slash healer. So what's important is, obviously, you're going to want to have a healing unit on your team at all times. So you want to know which weapons are going to give you those. So like Pixie Circle, for example, that heals a little HP for allies in a targeted area. You've also got Healing Circle and Nurse, which are also healing abilities. Obviously, there's different rarities of equipment. I'll go over that in a little bit. But yeah, so that this website is very, I'd say, integral for that kind of stuff. Now, sometimes it's not always updated immediately, but that's okay, you know. Sometimes, you know, it takes a few days. So obviously, right when an event drops, you won't be able to just, like for example, Rokuro was added on the 31st, so it's been 4 days. But all his arts are, you know, they're updated. You know, it pretty much tells you what all these arts are. But usually the night of, if you're like, oh crap, I pulled this character, I pulled his equipment, I want to know what it does. You'll probably have to wait a day or two to know that. So, but for a character like Rokuro, that's not a big deal since he's just a, you know, close range double dagger fighter. All his attacks are pretty much, they're melee, so you would want to just throw, if you pull his 5-star, you throw that on there, and then you throw his 3-4 stars, and you're good to go. So these are very good websites, and then like I said, you know, you can go over the quests, you know, enhanced quests, all that kind of stuff here. There's a lot of stuff that you'll really need, but I'll go over, once I'm done with, you know, everything in the game, you know, each thing I go over when we're actually in game, I'll be like, okay, you know, you can look this up in the wiki, look this up. But yeah, so these are the two main important websites that I would say, well, Twitter is Twitter. These are the two main important things you need. And like I said, I will have those beginner quests. I got to find the website for that again, but I will have that for people who need that. So let's go back over to the game. All right, so we're back over at the game. So I'm just going to take it page by page and go over everything, and then I'll do a mission at the end of the video before we close out, just to show you how the game actually works. And I'll pick a mission that's not too hard, so I kind of have some free roam to kind of just walk around and show you. But obviously the tutorial will show you that, but it's probably easier for someone to actually explain it. So first tab right up here, it is your notification tab and your news and all that stuff. And obviously what's important about this is you'll know what's going to be coming. Obviously, right now they're advertising a whole bunch of stuff for New Year's. These are all paid banners, so you don't need to pay attention to those if you're free to play. But, you know, down here it showed the Rokuro banner, and then we've still got this this free banner that's still going on, and all kinds of different stuff. And this was the stuff for the Flynn banner we had recently, yada, yada, yada. So all your different tabs for new stuff. And this is like the maintenance tab. Whenever there's like unexpected maintenance or just maintenance in general will be on this tab. This is your gift box. Obviously I have nothing in there, so I can't show that to you. You'll obviously go there every day when you do your logins. This over here that I already clicked on when it decides to load is the missions tab. So first tab will be your general mission stuff. As you can see, like some of the stuff is like get 83 characters to level 50, get 77 characters to level 60, blah blah blah, all kinds of stuff like this, very basic stuff. Second tab is your dailies, which I've already completed. I can tell you right off the bat that completing your dailies, all you have to do is pretty much play the game and get the really important thing to get your, because you can get 7 diamonds a day. It costs 20 diamonds to do a single summon and 200 to do a multi, and you get 7 a day. So if you figure a whole week, you can get 49 diamonds. You can get a quarter of a multi in just doing the dailies a week. This game is very free-to-play friendly, by the way, if you play smart. Obviously, you don't have to pull for every single banner that comes around. Pull for the characters you need and the characters you want. But yeah, so that's the daily tab. We've got kind of like enhancement kind of stuff right here. You know, you can get some of these materials. Obviously, going on the wiki is a good use of this because I can't tell you off the top of my head what each one of these, how to get them. I usually have to go to the wiki for stuff like that. Here is the event tab. The fourth tab is all event stuff. So like right here, this is for getting Rokuro to like level 65. All that kind of stuff. You know, getting his weapons up. And then these are for the rerun events, which I'll go over in a little bit. And then this final tab is kind of like a special time event stuff. So as you can see, it says right here, clear part 1, chapter 11-15 on hard, I get 5 diamonds. And then on part 2, complete chapter 3-15 on hard, I get 7 diamonds. I still have more of these to do, but there's been so much content lately that I've had a hard time doing that. So before we continue, so right up here, this is your AP or your stamina, basically what you'll use for missions. And it doesn't go up in a normal gacha way, because most gachas, you know, you'll have an overall player rank, and when that goes up so many times, you'll gain more stamina. The way that this works, and I'll go over it in a little bit, is you'll get character skits, or you'll play in the story. which I'll go over in a second. But basically, when you get 3 of these orbs, as you can see, I have 2 of the 3 filled up, you get 1 more AP added. And when you do that, it'll give you a full AP refill. So, like, let's say I got a character orb right now to give me 1 more orb. I would get another 158 added onto my 158. So, that's pretty cool. Right up here, we have prisms. And what prisms are basically used for are, you know what? Let's just go to for an example. So let's go, you go on this tab right here. And you see all these shop icons. So we'll go over that in a second. But the way prisms work, you know, let's just go over the whole page. So for example, the first thing, this is how you sell your weapons. So if you've already maxed out a weapon, you've maxed enhanced it, this is the tab you'll go to basically kind of sell stuff. So like, for example, this Rokuro weapon, I have it filtered right now. Obviously, I have more equipment than this. But like, these 1-star weapons, I will never... most players will never have any use for, except for maybe like the first couple missions. And then I can sell this Rokuro weapon. So as you can see, that's 150 prisms down here I'll be gaining for selling this equipment. Click that, yes. And shows you my increase. So now, when it decides to load, there we go. Prisms are basically used to buy equipment. The second tab is to sell Mirage Arts. It's the same thing as the first one. You're just selling Mirage Arts, which I'll go over what those are in a minute. The third tab right here, give it a second. Boom. This is where you can basically buy equipment. So this is where the prisms comes in. So like, for example, let's go to a well-known character, Lloyd Irving. This is basically, so it gives you an entire shop. So down here, this is just a music theme you can buy for Lloyd. But all the other stuff are his weapons that you can buy. So you got his 4 stars, his 3 stars. So you can accumulate these prisms in 2 ways. 1, by selling equipment, and 2, by doing summons. If you do summons, you can get prisms. So let's say you don't pull a weapon you want for a specific character, but you really want that weapon. You can use the prism shop to basically buy the weapons that you need. And sometimes, like they did recently for Edna, they put Healing Circle for Edna as a shop-only item. So I assume they'll do that in the future for other characters, but for the most part, most weapons can be obtained whenever characters are on a specific banner. Now, this isn't really relevant to this, but this is more of a whale kind of thing. When you fill this gauge all the way up, you get the Dark Turtles. He is basically a whale unlock character, which it's fine because he's not really a super hype character. It's not like they put someone like Duke from Vesperia behind a paywall like that. And you can eventually get it free to play, but you need to spend 100,000 prisms in the shop in order to get it. And as you can see, I'm not even halfway there. I'm probably a third of the way there. I could be halfway there if I spent everything I had now, but I'm not trying to waste stuff on things I don't need. So that's it for prisms. But let's go back to this menu. I kind of went out of order. I kind of wanted to go in the menus one by one, but because we're talking about prisms, I felt the need to go here. All right, so this next one right here, let's go over on this tab. So this is where you can look at all the event shops. I don't know if you guys will have this, but you may... No, it probably won't be there anymore because that was from like a year ago. A year ago, they had basically one of these shops was for new players. They got this little like ticket to basically get any character they wanted from a specific list and get their base Mirage art from that. But right here, it just has the 4 most recent shops. These are the shops you'll go to for... You can go to the event themselves, and there will be a way to go in them from there. But if an event's already gone, but their event shop... Because usually an event shop stays around for like 10 days after the event's gone. You know, maybe you didn't play for a few days and you didn't realize the event was gone. So this is kind of good for that. But that's that. This one right here. Let's just go over this real quick. This is where you can spend high prisms. Now, how you get high prisms is you sell Mirage Arts. Every Mirage Art you sell, you get 10 of these. You get 10 of these high prisms, And you can either save up for 150, where you can choose any mirror art you want from a list, or you can just get the 25, and it'll give you a random mirror art. Now, the issue with that, especially for someone like me choosing the random one, is that I have a lot of the ones that are in that list. So it's really more beneficial for someone like me to save up for this one right here. But if you're just starting out and maybe you don't really care about a character's mirror art that you pull, you can go ahead and sell it here at a chance for something else. And then the last tab down here is actually something new that you really can't use anymore because the event's gone. It was for Flynn's event, and basically you got these bags where you could summon and you'd have a chance to just get a whole bunch of materials or these crystal things right here. I'll explain what those are in just a second. Alright, so that's it for this tab, so we're done with that. Now let's go back to, well, first let's look at the top. So this top one right here is your paid currency. Most people, I feel like, probably won't need this because this isn't really a game you need to whale for, because a lot of the equipment and the characters can be used pretty well just from free-to-play stuff, and the game is very generous for what it gives you. And obviously, the currency below it is your free-to-play currency, that's diamonds. But let's go ahead and go to the second tab over here. We kind of went all over the place for a second, so I apologize for that. So the second tab is basically your missions tab. Or not missions, but quests. So any kind of, content you're going to be going through. So first things first, this thing up here, that is how you change the arc you're currently in. So this is for arc 1. We currently only have 2 arcs. The third arc should be starting sometime this month. So we've got 2 arcs. I believe even new players can start in whichever arc they want. So if you get stuck at a point in arc 1 and you want to jump to arc 2 to get more currency, kind of build up your team more, I believe you can do that. But let's go here. So the first tab is your story stuff. So as you can see, with Yuri and Rapide, this is chapter 1, and it goes all the way down. You just complete everything. There's a normal and hard mode, and you just go all the way. Pretty self-explanatory. Same thing with arc 2. You start with this chapter, and you go all the way down, yada, 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 and final chapter there. So, pretty self-explanatory. There's a lot of diamonds to get from this. So, like, for example, let's say we go here. I already have all the diamonds from, like, regular playing. But, so, you'll pretty much get very simple things. For the most part, at least in Arc 2, you can just play, like, all this stuff that say complete. Some of the ones that say clear, I didn't get, like, the final objective, which, I don't actually know what this might be for using 2 or more mirror arts during a quest. But for the most part, you can just play through and get... And obviously, as you can see, there's an AP down 50% campaign that's getting everyone ready for the third arc. So if you start playing now, it'll be a lot easier for you to kind of grind through. But yeah, there's a lot of currency to be had on normal and hard mode. Give you a lot of time to do stuff. Over here is your basic event. So the Rokuro is the current new event, and then the Eleanor and then the Estelle and Carol event are rerun events. The Rokuro event you can farm, because you can do the farming stage and it'll actually give you currency. This 40 stage and this 20 stage are the ones you want to farm depending on your difficulty level. And then here's the event shop right here in the bottom left-hand corner. And it'll basically show you what currency you need to buy certain things. You've got his 4-star weapon. These are limit break crystals, by the way. This is how you increase a character's max level cap. The max level normally for a character is level 50, but we currently have a level 60 cap and a level 70 cap. So you can get characters all the way to level 70 currently in the game. And then these are just little party boxes that you can get different stuff if you need money, which, as you can see at the top, I really don't. By the way, this is gold. This is what you use to basically do anything when it comes to upgrading. When it comes to your mirror arts, your equipment, all that kind of stuff, enhancing, which I'll also go over. But yeah, so there's a lot. Events are really nice because if you need certain enhancement orbs, you can really just farm them here. It's very nice to be able to do. And they also, of course, have this is how you transfer. So if you're done with all the small currency items and you don't need this anymore, you can just transfer them into the big currency, which is pretty nice. And then, so real quick before we do that, go back over here. So this is another one of those things. So this 25 AP and the 40 AP, which I actually haven't completed yet for the rerun, which I'll do eventually. You can't farm these. The only way to get the currency for these is there are daily missions you can do, and basically the easiest way to do that is just to spam Mirage Arts as much as you can, which I'll go over what those are in a bit. Here we are with the enhancement stages. So these are XP crystals. This is for your actual weapons to upgrade them. These are enhancement orbs. Both of these are actually. This is to basically give your weapons new abilities or to change abilities. This is your gold farming mission, and this is an actual EXP farming mission for your characters themselves. This is the monthly tower. Now, what the monthly tower is, and I'm not going to go into this to play it, especially after this month. It was easier than normal, but it was still pretty hard. Basically, any character you've pulled their Gacha Mirage Art, and what a Gacha Mirage Art is, it's basically what you want in a Gacha, you know. If you're playing something like Dokkan, you want to pull the featured SSRs. If you're playing something like Opera Omnia, you want the 5-star weapon. Mirage Arts are basically ultimate attacks for each character that you equip. So any character you've pulled that for, or if you use, there are these teardrops you can use to Force Awaken characters. You basically take every single one you've awakened and bring them into this tower, and you just try and see how far you can get. There are 50 normal floors, and then there's 10 extra stage floors, so basically 60 floors total. As you can see, I completed it this month. The previous month I only got to 56, and the month before that I only got to 53, so hopefully from now on I'll be able to get to 60 every single month. But I would not worry about doing the tower if you are a brand new player. It's probably not going to be something you'll be able to do. I mean, maybe see if you can do the first 10 floors, you know, once you've got some solid teams together, because you can get some rewards for that. And this bottom one right here, this is what you do. There are certain rerun events. So these are events all from year 1, so over a year ago. So if you want these certain characters, you can get these tickets, and they give them out every so often, where you can basically unlock these events to basically do them and unlock the characters. So if you want any of these characters specifically, definitely I would recommend doing that. But that's pretty much it for the missions tab. Pretty self-explanatory. So we'll go over to the third tab. Wow, I was really expecting this video to be like 20 minutes, but it's definitely going to be a lot longer than that. So these is your team building tab. So you can have up to 8 teams. It used to actually be 6, but within the last year, they added 2 extra tabs because there wasn't enough to kind of make as many teams as you need to make. So normally what I do is I put a team of each color. So this is my purple team. Oops. Didn't actually mean to click on a character. We're not doing that yet. So purple team. We got our green team right here. This isn't like finalized. I change characters depending on what missions I'm doing. Brown. What do we got? Yellow. Blue, red, and then these are some makeshift teams for rainbow events. As you can see, there are different colors for each character, and depending on a mission, you'll need to bring a specific color. And as you can see, the first character right in here, whose name is Cocos, he is a rainbow unit. Characters who are from this game specifically, like he was created specifically for this game, will be rainbow, or crossover characters that aren't actually from this game. Like Kirito is in this game, but he is a rainbow unit because he's not actually from the game. Characters like Yuri, Flynn, you know, and all the Berseria Zestiria characters right here, they're all specific colors. So the thing with this game is you don't have to pull for everybody, but you want to at least be able to build a full team of each color. So you're going to need roughly, you know, a good 20 to 25 characters that you do have fully stacked. If you want to get through this game. And we'll go over the weapons in a bit, but let's just go over real quick what the, if I can open this, what it looks like for a character's kind of equipment setup. I'm going to use Saray because he's a pretty stacked up character. So, these first 2 tabs up here are your Mirage Arts. So as you can see, it's like a picture of the character. So each Mirage Art is a special attack for each character. And when the gauge fills up in the mission, which I'll show you, you can basically unleash the attack. And if you fill up the gauge twice before using your first one, you'll have 2 Mirage Arts to use in a row. So you'll be able to use a character's second, the sub one basically that I have for Saray. I'd be able to use that one first and then his main one. Now, what a lot of people like to do, so like for example, if you have a character that doesn't have a second Mirage Art in the game yet, what people like to do is take a different character's Mirage Art and put it on the character. So like, let's say this wasn't filled for Saray. I could take any of these other characters if I just wanted the stat boost. So as you can see there, certain stats go up and certain stats go down. Even though it's not for the character, you won't be able to use that character's Mirage Art, obviously, but you can still get the stat boost if you want that. And then, obviously, you've got your 4 weapon slots. So each slot is a direction you'll flick while you're playing, and it'll be that character's special attack. Basically, whatever art they have equipped. So, obviously, the higher star means it's more likely to be a better weapon. That's why the wiki is really nice, because you can look up what characters' arts go with each thing. Obviously, I have 2 5 stars and 2 4 stars for Saray, so he is one of my better characters. But let's go over to these tabs. This tab, if you're playing the tower, you can get special, like, permanent abilities for each character, as you can see here. You know, one of them is the HP is 4% up. And then we got MG for characters as well. This tab right here is kind of just determines, and these are in regular Tales games, what the character does. So for a character like Saray, it doesn't really matter too much when it comes to... This is for the auto characters, the characters you aren't controlling. For healers, this is important because you'll get this, like, the bottom one will be for healing. For a healer character, which I'll show you in a second, like Elise, for example, if you want to put her on the bottom one so she heals more frequently when a character is starting to lose health. Because sometimes the auto setting will be like, oh, when a character gets down to 35% health, then heal that character. But the bottom one will be like, even if a character gets down to 75% health, they'll heal. So that'll be good for if you just want a character to only be healing. Over here, this tab is more recent. This will definitely not be in my last video, but this is your character's bond levels. So the more you use a character, the more their bond level goes up. And basically what it does is every AP you use, you get 1 bond. So if I did a 40 AP mission, 40 more points would be added. So he'd go from 45.31 to 45.71. And it's very simple like that. And you get certain things for each stage. First stage, you get the character's poster. Second stage, you get some diamonds. Third stage, you get some prisms. Fourth stage, you get like a little character quote that they'll say when they're in the room. I'll explain what the room is in a second. Level 5, more diamonds. I'm not trying to hold on that. Stage 6, which will be next for my Saray, I'll get more prisms. Stage 7, you get 10 of these 300,000 XP medals. Stage 8, you get 50 more diamonds. Stage 9, you get a trophy for the character. And stage 10, you will get a character's second character skit, which I'll go over what character skits are in a little bit. And this final page is just bios for the character. The more you level up the character, the more bios they have. But obviously, we can't read Japanese, so that doesn't really matter for us. So let's go ahead and back out. Let's go to a character real quick that does have healing. So let's go to Laphicet, for example. I was going to go to Elise, but I don't know if I have Elise. I think I have her on a team, but it doesn't really matter too much. So down here, as you can see, HP 75% for Laphicet. That means he'll heal whenever a character goes below 75% HP. And that's what's also important. So the green card on the top left, that's his heal. Which I should actually probably think about enhancing. And as you can see, Laphicet's secondary sub-Mirage Art is his free Mirage Art. Anytime you complete a character's event or story chapter when they're around, you will get their free Mirage Art. So even if you weren't able to pull their summonable one, you'll still have an ultimate attack for each character. Sometimes there's exceptions, like crossover characters you kind of have to summon for. Like, for example, I have Asuna from Sword Art Online, but I don't have a Mirage Art for her because I pulled like 3 Kiritos. And speaking of Kirito, here he is. I didn't pull anything for Asuna, so that's that. So that's pretty much it. And there's like, you know, whatever team you want to be your favorite, so it'll show up on your home screen. And then some of these are like auto-equip the characters, but I never use that. I like to build my own teams. So let's go to the 4th tab. So pretty much all the equipment you're going to want to be going for are 3, 4, and 5 stars. The 1 and 2 star equipment aren't actually for characters. They're just like placeholders to increase your stats if you don't have anything to put in that slot yet. Obviously, mainly only for new players. So here we have, and I have it based on power level. So the ones you see at the top are my most strongest characters based on equipment. So this button up here is where you kind of determine that. And you can filter, as you can see, you've got all the different anima types right here. You can filter by, you can open this thing up to only have specific characters' equipment show. This is important for if you're really just trying to upgrade stuff for characters from a specific event. So basically what you would do is you would click this, it turns them all off, and then let's say we're going for these 4. You just turn these 4 on, boom, boom, and it'll only show those characters right there. And then if you click all, this is where it shows everything. So the first tab is to level up equipment, second tab is for enhancements, and third tab is for infusion. So if you pull a dupe for a weapon or a mirror chart, well, dupe for this one, it's dupe for a weapon. That's where you'll put the weapons in. Let's see if I actually have anything to infuse to kind of like showcase it real quick. No, that weapon's maxed out, but what we can do is we can just set it to all real quick. Let's see if we can do that. Boom. Boom. This is going to show a ton of equipment, but that's okay. As you can see, I play this game a lot and have been. Let's see if we can find a weapon real quick that needs infusing. Okay, Lugger right here. I actually only need 1 copy, so I can sell those extra copies for Prism. So, as you can see, you can limit break a weapon 4 times before it's maxed out. And then it increases its level. 3 stars can go to level 80, 4 stars and 5 stars can go to level 90, and Mirage Arts can go to level 100 because they start at level 60. It's all based on their starting level. So, same thing here. This is how you level up Mirage Arts, this is how you enhance them, and this is how you infuse them. I don't have anything to infuse, but let me showcase how enhancing works real quick before we hop over to the next menu. So, for example, let's just click Zelos real quick. So it shows you what you need in order to enhance it. It shows you what ability is going to be added to the Mirage Art, as well as how much it costs. Boom, you click it real quick. And there you go. You're at the next stage for it. And obviously there are different elements for each Mirage Art. So obviously going against certain weapons, certain Mirage Arts, and just weapons in general will be more effective. So that is something else to keep in mind as well. And obviously I have a lot of characters that I need to upgrade stuff for, and don't really have the materials to do so. Which means I have to do more farming. So that's it for the enhancement page, and we already went over the page after that, which is this one. So we'll go to the room now, which is a significantly new... I don't know why I said significantly, that doesn't really fit in that sentence. But this is basically a newer feature. So basically what you do here is you can have up to 4 characters just kind of chilling in the room. You can put a poster in the back right here. Right now I still have Judith's right there. And, you know, you can click on them and they'll have different, like, quotes and stuff like that. And what you can also do here, whenever she's done talking, is you can give gifts. So, like, for example, let's say I wanted to... Yeah, we'll use these. Let's get Saray to level 6. So you give him these gifts. He's very grateful. Increases his bond level. And then I can take these and give them to Yuri. There you go. Increase. This room back here... And there are different, like, layouts for the room. So if you go here... right here, there's 2 different layouts currently. I'm sure they'll add more in the future, but this is just kind of like for aesthetic reasons. This is how you choose what poster you want, and you can get more poster. Let's actually change the poster. Yeah, let's put Flynn's up since he's our most recent thing we did. There we go. And then what's important here, anytime you get a new trophy, and I can't really showcase it right now because none of them are new, but if one had an exclamation point, like let's say this one did, you would click on it and it would give you a certain amount of diamonds as a reward for getting that trophy. So it is very incentive to kind of do these and kind of get those rewards. But let's put X's / Cocus's trophy up there. And boom, as you can see, the poster in the back changed to Flynn, as well as the trophy on my desk. Now, back here, there is a secret room we can go into. And basically, it's very basic stuff. Right here, well, if I want to click on it correctly, any mirage art you've obtained, the summonable ones will show up here. So that's pretty, well, it'll show the free-to-play ones as well. But it's more better to be able to look at the, so this is a summonable one from Arc 2. I just love the art for these. Like, they really go out of their way to make some great art for these, especially some of the seasonal ones. You know, we got Mintz right here for her bridal one. That's really some cool art. But yeah, this is kind of a cool little show-off thing, especially for people who are more whales. You can see how much they've filled up their brackets. Right here is kind of just a music thing, so any music you've obtained you can play through here if you just want to kind of listen to a specific music track. I finished that whole explanation before it. So it shows all the different Tales games that they come from. Tales of Arrays, we got Tales of Symphonia down here. If you wanted to play some music tracks like that. And, you know, you just scroll down. I believe they would even have... Okay, I didn't mean to do that. I'm just trying to scroll. Come on. Alright, but yeah, you get the idea. And there you go. It just has all the different music. It doesn't have... I was surprised because I thought we might see the... Because there was a sword art event, but there's no music for it because back then this didn't exist. And then over here... This is basically where you can look for, and you can access this from this final tab over here as well. These are the skits. So what's important about this, the first two aren't really that important. They're just the story and event skits that you'll see when you're playing the game. But this third tab is very important. So what you can do here is, this is where the AP orbs come into effect. Like, there are certain AP orbs you'll just get from story, but here is the important one. So like, for example, let's just click on someone random, Guy. So Guy, you get, so basically what you would do is, you would click this, you would play the skit and watch it. We're not going to watch it, we're just going to click skip. This is from Arc 1. And then when it's done, another orb would pop up at the top right here, filling up. So every time you get a character from an event or a story, the first time, or not the first time it comes around, whenever it's naturally supposed to be there, you'll get one of these skits for a character. And certain characters, like it actually showed for Guy too, but where is he? This second skit, you need to get their bond level to level 10. So think about it this way, you can get 1 AP orb per character normally, and then you can get another AP orb. But these are all the characters. I have everyone unlocked. Every character that's ever been added to the game. This is all of them. And so figure all these characters and then add one more once you bond level them to 10, which is still going to take a while. So it's not like I'll instantly be up to 300 AP, like no problem. So that's pretty much everything in the room. And then this last thing is just Tales of Link stuff. If you wanted to look at Tales of Link, which was an old mobile game. But that's it for the room. So let's go over to the actual gacha aspect of this, which is probably what most people watching this are more interested in. Okay, so basically, so let's close this. Can I close it? No, I can't. Okay, whatever. So bottom thing right here, this is your friend point summon. So you'll get friend points by people using your character or just doing missions in general and your dailies and stuff like that. And you can get up to 4-star equipment from these friend point summons. It's very rare, but you can get them. As well as you get a lot of kind of level up currency and enhancement currency from this as well. So it is kind of nice to do. As you can see, I have a ton that I need to use. Second tab is your story chapter banners. I mean, most of the story, like Flynn's story chapter up here, it's still here. Like, when they're new, they'll go here, but when they get batched up like this, so like, for example, the first 5 or 6 chapters are right here. And basically, it just has all the characters bunched up. Obviously, if you played the game when it was first releasing these chapters, you would have been able to summon on these banners, and they wouldn't have been as cluttered, but now they are. So you've got like the first like 4 chapters right here, and then you've got like chapters 5 through, what is this, like 5 through 8, 5 through 9, and then so on and so forth. You got all the way up to the end of the first arc, and then right here it starts the second arc. You've got 2 batched up things, and obviously when arc 3 starts, I expect we'll get a third one added to this that will have the rest of the arc. But obviously Flynn's banner is still up, so it's important to have it there. Right now, they just have a ton of whale banners right now, celebrating 2019. So if you are a whale, these are good banners for you. Step up banners. We've got Rokuro's banner. So just kind of tons of stuff to do. And what's most important is right over... So if you're watching this video past, like around February, this won't matter anymore. But this banner right here, I would not recommend spending anything on it. But once a day, you can, where it says 20 diamonds, this will be 0. So once a day, you can do a free single summon. It's been going on for probably about a month now. And it'll keep going for another like 3 or 4 weeks. I believe it's probably just going to go until the start of the next arc. But basically, the characters on the banner change every week. And then you'll be able to kind of get lucky. I've gotten 2 Mirage Arts off of it. So let's go over what everything is on a banner. So let's go to the Rokuro banner, for example. So here are the rates. 5% chance for a Mirage Art, 6% for a 5-star, 15% for a 4-star, and 74% for a 3-star. Now what's nice about this over other games is the banners are not cluttered. As you can see here, it only has the characters from the actual event. So we've got Rokuro, Ludger, Julius, and we have Rose. So there's 7 Mirage Arts total you can pull from. Obviously, the older Mirage Arts have a lower drop rate. They're only a third of the newer stuff, which is pretty nice. Same thing with the 5 stars and 4 stars. You can see that Rokuro obviously has increased drop rates for his weapons because he is the brand new character. The other characters that are on the banner just have new seasonal Mirage Arts for their character. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the whole gacha aspect. I mean, obviously, you know, 5% isn't the best rate, but it is an equipment gacha, so pulling the Mirage Arts aren't super important. Plus, there's the whole fact, so whenever a new event comes around, you get summon tickets for a new character. I couldn't show you in the event shop because I already spent them all, but for example, for Rokuro's event, there are 10 single summon tickets you can get for Rokuro, and they do this with every event whenever there's new characters. So it's very nice to be able to get that. And obviously you can see down here, this is where you also get prisms. You can summon. So, you know, if you do Mirror Gem summons, that's for paid people, obviously. You can get prisms from that. But for the most part, free-to-play players will mainly be getting prisms from, you know, selling equipment and stuff like that. But that's pretty much it for... And if you want specific characters, like I know there are people out there who probably want to summon for specific people. You know, Vesperia fans will probably summon on this banner if they want to get these characters early. If you want Yuri, I wouldn't worry about it because he's in the first chapter. So you'll get him by the end of the tutorial anyway. But if you wanted like... And you'll be able to get Rita and Estelle... Or not Rita, you'll be able to get Estelle and Carol just from playing the event. But if you wanted like Rita's, for example, whose event is just a rerun event now that you can use those tickets for, and you wanted the specific Mirage Art, then, you know, it's kind of nice to have. But that is pretty much it for the whole gacha aspect. Like I said, it's super free-to-play friendly. They pretty much give enough free-to-play... If you play the game consistently, they give enough free-to-play currency where you can do a multi per banner. But obviously, you want to summon for what you need and what's good for you. So, like, for example, I don't really need... Like, if this was a brand new banner, with the team I have currently for my green team, I wouldn't pull on it. For one, because I already have this for Carol. I already have this for Yuri. So going out for 2 characters out of 4 is just not beneficial for me. So you just kind of pick and choose. Obviously, if it's a character you really, really like, then obviously go for it. But you don't need to summon on every single banner. I would definitely just save up for who you think you're going to need, you know, for which colors. Obviously, starting out, you're going to kind of have a tough time, but with the 2-year anniversary coming around, I think it's going to be very nice because for the year 1 anniversary, every single one of the story banners they had down here, they were chopped up a little bit more. So there were basically there were like 5 banners from the story, and then there were 5 event banners that you got a free multi from. So that was really good for brand new players. So I would say starting now is probably a good point to start, because you can get kind of your leg in the water and basically kind of get your teams kind of set up, and then when the year 2 stuff comes around, you'll be rewarded with all this stuff, and you can really make your teams top tier with all that stuff. And then for the last page over here, before we go ahead, and we'll do one mission to kind of show you how the gameplay looks, in case you haven't downloaded the game already. So first thing up here is obviously your paid currency if you want to pay for stuff there. This second tab, this is important if you want to like add your friends and stuff like that. Obviously, if you're watching this, you can try adding me. I don't know if my list is full or not. And basically, what's nice about this game is you choose who you want to have as your friend unit. Because when you go into a mission, you've got your team of 4, and then you can choose one friend person that you only can use their mirrorage art when you choose. So right now I have Rokuro because he is the current event. But I can put any character I want on there. Then obviously there's the whole friend ID, and you can have a little motto right there. This third thing is your storage. So you can only increase your max inventory so much, but what they did to compensate for that is they made a storage thing. So any equipment you're never going to use or rarely use, but you don't want to sell it because maybe you put a lot of effort into it, what you can do is you can click this first tab and you can throw it in there. Then the second tab is to pull stuff out, and the third tab is to increase your overall storage inventory. So it's nice to kind of throw your 3 stars in there when you don't use them anymore. Third thing right here, actually, what is it? Okay, this just shows your overall items. I wasn't actually sure what that one was. That's why I clicked on it. Then we got this one right here. If it's stuff I don't know what it is, it's really not stuff that's important. This just kind of shows you everything for each character. This is the same thing that I showed you in the room. This is where you can look over all the skits and stuff like that. This is just your settings. The only thing I would say is you can download all here. So this thing right here. Where is it? No, it's this one. So this one right here. So if you have it on the left, it's only download, important stuff. So it does like the data download. But if you want download all, then you want to click this one over here. Like if you don't want to deal with any, well, where'd it go? Okay, this one right here. So if you don't want to deal with any load times ever, and if you don't want to get spoiled when you're doing summons, because it's kind of like Dragon Ball Legends, where it'll do a loading bar whenever you get something new. So you'll know when you're getting new stuff on a new banner. So if you don't want that kind of stuff, definitely do the download all. But it's a lot of data. So those who don't have a lot of data on their phone, or space on their phone, I would not recommend doing that, because I think it can get up to being like, a lot of gigs, basically. I'd say probably around 4, depending on if you want to do that. And what's important here is, so one is for skits, and the other one is for actual gameplay. This is basically your quality of the game. Obviously, as you can see, I have it set to the very highest. But if you don't have as nice of a phone, you may not want to do that, because they did recently do a graphical update. This is like, the next one is like a help thing. This one just shows my code. Obviously phone transfer. This is probably like, what? Just terms of service, blah, blah, blah kind of junk. So yeah, pretty much everything else down here doesn't really matter. And yeah, that's pretty much it for all the menus. I mean, it took us like almost an hour to go over it. So if you're still with me at the end of this video, I do appreciate it, and I'm sure you'll appreciate it when you get to playing. Feel bad for people who wanted kind of like a quick synopsis, but I wanted to go over everything. So let's go over, how do I want to do this? Yeah, you know what? Let's go to, I believe his chapter would probably be best for this. Alright, so we'll take... So this is the point where you take a specific character. So let's just grab this Ludger, for example. And obviously certain mirror jarts have certain abilities. So depending on what kind of mission you're doing, you might want to take a specific character. Okay, so let's take... I want to mess up one of these teams. So let's mess with this one. So I'm only going to take one character with me onto the mission. So that way I can kind of show you, and the other side characters controlled by the AI won't kill everything immediately. And once we do this mission, that'll pretty much be the end of the video. Obviously, if there are any other questions, definitely leave them down in the comments below, and I will try to answer them. Or you could always try and reach out to me, send me a tweet on Twitter, and I'll definitely try and help you out there. So, which character? Let's take, Let's take Saray. I don't want to take someone super OP because they'll probably one-shot everything. But yeah, let's go ahead. Let's take Saray. Let's hop into this. And I'll show you what's kind of what you kind of do on the stage. I'm not sure if this is actually the correct stage I want to be. Okay, it is. Okay. Damn it. I double tapped. So basically, the outer map is basically just for walking into your enemies. And you can find treasure chests and stuff on the map, but you can kind of free roam it if you want to, kind of see what enemies you're going to be fighting. Obviously, you won't know all the enemies till you walk into them. But, okay, so now we're in battle. So, as you can see, you can move your character around. Obviously, if you played the tutorial, you'll already know that. You just tap the screen to do regular attacks. So that's basically that. Obviously, you can see Ludger's character picture in the corner. That is how you use your friend's mirror chart. You just flick it up. That's why the arrow is pointing up like that. This button up here, this is in the top right. That is how you switch what character you're targeting. Obviously, the pause button is right above it. And then in the top left, you see the 100%. That is basically your multiplier for how much damage your mirror jarts are going to do. The more enemies you defeat and the more fights you do in a mission, the higher it's going to go up. And the more mirror jarts you use before you get to the final battle, that will also increase it. So, for example, if I flick Ludger's real quick, hopefully this won't be a one-shot. No, it's 30,000 health, so it shouldn't one-shot him. So, as you can see, the counter went up to 130%, which is pretty nice. So now I'm going to show you more of how the abilities work. So you flick one direction, as you can see, up, down, left, right. Each one's a different ability, and you can kind of, you know, link them together to do combo attacks. And as you can see, you know, you've got my character's health in the corner, in the bottom left, and the number that's going up, that's at 33 right now, that is basically... So each attack that you use when you flick a direction is a certain, and I'm not really doing well right here, in a one-on-one fight against this guy. But basically, it goes down the more abilities you use in chain, and the way to fill it back up kind of easily is to kind of stand still. And if you're standing still, you'll actually block. As you can see, I just blocked that, so if he hits me again, block. So standing still is basically your block, and that's pretty much the basics of battle. I mean, obviously, he can do arts as well, which can be kind of annoying. And normally, this will be a lot easier if I have other characters, but I didn't want them to one-shot everything. So let's see if we can beat this guy without having to worry about that. And obviously, the gauge under my health is for your mirror jarts. And for 5 stars, as you can see right there, it did like a little freezing motion. 5 stars have the chance to basically be a stronger attack when you link them together with 4 or more arts. So if you use 4 arts and then use your 5 star, it'll do that kind of animation for the attack. Boom, boom, boom. And there you go. we defeated the boss guy with only one character. Obviously, I chose a much easier mission for showcasing stuff, but you get the general gist of how the gameplay goes. It shows you how much XP and everything you get, as well as money, and here's your item page. And that's it. That's pretty much all that comes down to it when it comes to doing missions. And obviously, you know, you can set up your teams different ways depending on what you need. One final thing I didn't really think about going over, that I'm going to go over real quick when it came to events, is the way you get event currency is dependent on which characters you have with you. So let's go over Rokuro's event real quick. So if we clicked the 20 AP stage, excuse me. So as you can see, there's different currency numbers for the characters. So as you can see, Rokuro and Rose have the higher currency, where a character, well, some of these other characters only have the like meat looking one. That's because they're not specifically for this event. So when you do an event, you do want to use the characters for the event. Now, you don't necessarily need that character's summonable mirror jar just to get the currency. You just need to have the character on your team. So I would select Rose, for example, and then we'd go to my team that's for this. And as you can see, 3 of my 4 characters do give the correct currency, the secondary currency. I have Elise on here. I could probably switch it to somebody else now because there are stuff in the event shop where you need the lower currency as well. So I have Elise on there to kind of balance that. I get a little bit of the lower currency. But that's also a very important thing when it comes to farming events, is you want to use the characters that are actually for that event. So Rose, Ludger, and Rokuro are all characters that are on the current banner for this event with new mirror jars. So they are characters you want to use. And that'll be kind of a common theme in the future. So you do kind of want to make every character at least usable. You don't have to fully max them out with their gear and stuff like that. But, you know, sometimes at least have 1 or 2 characters from that banner. Or you know, if you're really gonna grind it, if you don't really care about that, you can use 4 characters, kind of like Elise, that only gives the small currency, and then you can just infuse it all into the big currency as well. It's not necessary, but it does make your job easier if you do use characters that are for the event. But we are 57 minutes in, a lot longer than I thought I was gonna make this video, but those of you who stuck through it, I greatly appreciate it. Let me know down below if you are someone who didn't play before and is gonna play now. Like I said, we've got tons of stuff coming. We've got Arc 3 starting up, so we'll be getting a ton of free currency for that, as well as we have the Year 2 anniversary next month. So, players just starting out, this is a very good time to start out. So, don't forget to subscribe for more if you're new to the channel and you want to see more Tales of the Rays content. That is what we mainly do here on the channel. I will see you all next time. Have a wonderful day, everybody.